when you realize how big he is, and you've stood next to him and realize how, there's that famous picture of the triple threat of him in the back, and the three of us in front of him all look like his kids, like he's going to wrap his arms around us. Yeah, he's just a big guy.
British Bulldog versus Bam Bam Bigelow, updated for a freshly updated look, for a freshly turned Davey Boy Smith, with the whole short hair thing going on. He power slammed Diesel on Raw a month earlier. Was this part of the whole? Was this the thing that you were talking about earlier, where all the bad guys, including you, just run roughshod over the baby faces?
Davey Boy was involved in that, I'm pretty sure. That, by the way, was the loop we made whenever I had the pizza and he had the hands all over his face. That was on that loop. So it probably was, yes. What surprised me in watching that match, Moose didn't set it up. And so I'm watching it initially as Bam Bam's the heel and Davey's the face. And I'm watching him thinking, like, why is he doing that? Like that's like the way Bammer was selling and stuff. I'm thinking, like, he's backwards. And then Chris said, "Oh yeah, but by the way, Bam Bam's the babyface." And okay, got me back on track and looked at it. Was surprised. There were several things that stood out to me on that match. I always loved Davey's work. Not like going to be one of those technical guys, although he knew how to do all that. But the strength stuff that he would put in, like early in the night or later in the night, one of the two, where he vertical suplexed or tries, and Kevin's legs are out and he has to put him back down, and then he comes back and gets it again. Really shows you his power. He was an incredibly strong guy. But like, I was a big fan of the Bulldogs because I thought, like, this is different. Like, you watch either of them hit the ropes and it's like they attack the rope. They don't just lean into it. Everything was done like really crisp. Like I said earlier, prior about, the Canadian wrestlers, Japanese wrestlers, they all have hallmarks that really stick out. And, but watching Bam Bam, who's probably, I'm guessing at this point, 450 range, moving around. There's the one point where he does the enzigiri, right? But he doesn't just do it like you'd expect a 450-pound guy to do. He snaps it, a quick snap over, moving around, much like you'd expect to see like a Rey Mysterio move around, or Super Crazy, or Juventud, somebody of that stature. He really, like, another point when I think towards the end of the match, where he gets clipped and takes the rule out through the ropes. I kept looking at Chris going, look how amazingly athletic he is. Just really, really like blows you off the charts when you realize how big he is, and you've stood next to him and realize how, there's that famous picture of the triple threat of him in the back, and the three of us in front of him all look like his kids, like he's going to wrap his arms around us. He's just a big guy, and how he could move was amazing. And I thought those guys put on a really, really good performance for what type of match and where it was on that card.
When you say attacking the ropes, that's exactly what I thought Bam Bam was doing, because I don't go back and watch wrestling very often, and I suppose neither do you, at least to, full pay-per-views or anything like that.
Yep.
And I was looking at Bam Bam, and he's almost doing a back bump into the ropes and then launching himself outwards again. And I don't remember seeing anyone else do it like that.
And in those rings, understand the WWF, I think, still uses the real ropes.
Yes.
And it's part of the reason, like, Dominic taught us to always arch your arm over and lean into the rope, like, with your side, because if it breaks, and it happened one time with Mick Foley, he and Dominic were in the ring crisscrossing. And I see, you're looking at the center, so out of peripheral vision, you're seeing these two guys go opposite way. And I'm looking, and like that, Mick's gone. He's hitting the rope and he's gone. And then I hear this by my ear, instinctively rolled away from it. Here it was the turnbuckle bolt had actually released when Mick hit the rope. And so that turnbuckle like flew, part of it killed me. It hit me straight on. But because of the way he hit the ropes, as fast as that happened, if he'd been hitting it like Bam Bam hit it, he'd have been straight out, and like Rude did in Japan, landed on his head. But I'm sure Mick didn't even know what he did at the time. We were so young and green, but he tensed, which made the rope tighten under his arm, which pivoted his body and landed on his hip out there. Still a tough bump and a hard bump, but a lot better than landing on your head. So yeah, you could tell like Larry Sharpin teaching him at the Monster Factory, that was the old acumen. But that type of hitting the ropes was based on cables, not ropes. And as big as Bam Bam was, hitting the ropes that stiff and that hard with that much force, those ropes, by the way, so everybody knows, they get used over and over and over and over and over again until they fail. And then they get rid of that one, put a new one on. So each time they're the land of monsters, every time that rope's getting hit, those fibers are getting stretched and pulled, like sort of doing this on the inside. And it's really a crapshoot. But yeah, Bamber was, if you watch our match for the 97 pay-per-view in Pittsburgh at ECW, the November to Remember, he was so big, like the belly to belly running, you couldn't really get your arms around him. But he does such a masterful job of keeping me over as he's keeping heat on me. And like that match again was Bam Bam, and you see just how athletic he was. Not that you weren't impressed with it all along, but when you finally are in the ring with him and seeing not just how the athletic side of it was always amazing, but realizing that he's also knowing that his role in this match is to get me over in front of my hometown crowd to get that pop. He was unbelievably professional in an industry that's very selfish. Bam Bam could have gone out there and done his thing, got himself over, and at the end, let me pin him. He didn't. He got me over in that match. He made me before he had me take him, which is incredibly rare in this business. And just, what a pro. What a pro. Incredible.
The match goes about 12 minutes. Before I just go into the end bit, I miss the days when the reversal or the potential reversal of a sunset flip gets the people stood up. Breathing in, come on, you can do it, and then bam, reverses it. Well,
you saw in that. And that was another thing I pointed out to Chris last night. When you watch Bam Bam,
and he does a great job, because so many people do it badly when they go, but no, Bam.
Yes.
Yeah, he's really, really doing a fantastic job of looking like he's about to lose his balance, and then he slams into it.
Yes, and if you look, had he held that 1 second longer going back, he really was putting himself off balance to sell that move. Had he tried to hold it 1 more second, he probably would have lost his balance. Took it right to that edge, and then boom, and didn't just like sit down on it. It was like a boom, like a car dropping on him.
Yeah.
Just again, wow. Watching a big guy like that move around like that is like, man.